I don't really take Twitter people serious like that. If you can listen, yes, now if you can listen to Lidok, why can't I listen to Odumodu?
That being said, though, I think where the outrage comes from is not about men talking about having sex with women. It is about perpetuating the stereotype that women need men for everything.
Right? The whole Ashawo word, specifically from Odumodu Black, should not be triggering to any woman that's not a sex worker. If it's triggering you, there's a skeleton in your closet, and you need to say your truth and live your truth.
I disagree on that.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
I big disagreement.
No.
Yeah, man. Let's start with the song. So Odumodu put out a feature on Shallipopi's album.
If she no fuck, if she no suck, go for
Yes.
a ring and handbag.
Yeah, exactly. So somebody found that quite disgusting.
But this is not the first time I've heard that line. Like, I've heard it before.
But obviously, it's a play on, it's a play on Shallipopi's flow. That's what Odumodu was doing.
Right.
If you want to approve, if you want track, if you want to know, then you know, like, Puto, you know, the show format. Basically, a Shapiro flow. But, yeah, so he basically went with that line. And somebody felt they were disgusted by it. And she basically said all the ladies should get their money up and shmoney up. So there's no loser in this world that'll come out here and say nonsense like this, you know? So yeah, we can go from there, Sam. What are your thoughts?
Fair enough, but is that like the most disgusting thing Odumodu have ever said? Like, I'm just being cut aback. Odumodu, we don't talk many katakata things.
When it comes to Odumodu and disgust, there's a plethora of things, and this is not even up there on the scale for sure.
It's
Like
not,
This
like,
man said he go use.
I was about to say this guy said worse things. Like this is not
yes. But yeah, let's bring it back. Even though he has said some crazy things, this particular one that got us on the song. So the question now is how you feel about that line from your perspective.
Okay.
And I want to get more women up here, of course, because
I'm a feminist.
It's looking
me, I always give a
it's
balanced
looking
opinion.
too sausage today, bro.
Me, I'll give a balanced opinion. I don't
Okay.
I don't think that's the worst thing Odumodu have said. I think he has said lots of crazy stuff. I think that's like this is Odumodu's MO, right? If it's not Kala, it is like that's like this is what has brought him fame and what did Joye Con call it polarization, right? Being a polarizing figure, having all those street lingo which people are calling out for online, but it's the typical everyday Nigerian talk. I swear it's even like it's not something that is even shocking because I know it is deeply everyday's conversation in the streets of Lagos and blah blah blah. So, and this is what has brought Odumodu fame because he's relatable. He says those street talk and all those things. Is it bad? Yes, some of them can be tagged as weird, bad. But music is an art form, right? And he's probably painting his canvas. He will get criticism for some of it, and he'll get praises. It comes with the game. I think it's just everyday music business, really, nothing out of the blue. If we want to blow it out of proportion, fine. But we could also blow it out of proportion. But I think it's unnecessary Twitter engagement bans if everybody in the society says blah, blah, blah things. Is it that they slut shame certain people or they broke shame certain people? It's like everyday society yarns, and Odumodu said it in the music. Shame good day now, like in whichever way. So, from a balanced perspective and not taking any side, I think it's an art form. I think it's wrong to an extent. I think it's also an art form, and it's not something to be really focused on or talked about that much, as there are a lot of things to talk about.
All right, fair enough. Dabira.
Yeah, basically, I'll just say, like, if you know Odumodu, you will know that this guy has never not been saying things like this. He has said crazier things. And it's not like what he said was a lie. Like, it's what's happening nowadays. Like, Odumodu always talk about shit that is going on. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, he's always going to bring up some trending topic about like what's happening. So I don't know why people are getting riled up. And I mean, I feel like people that are getting riled up are people that are really guilty, like it's guilty conscience that is doing them. Like they always they don't engage in that.
This nigga.
They engage in all those kind of things. So if it's not
It's a guilty
it's
conscience.
not supposed to rile you up like that. If you have not if you don't get sugar daddy or something. Do you understand? Like people that are getting riled up. Because me, like when the song dropped, I was seeing some people like I was seeing some people tweet like small. They were coming for him small. So like they just needed somebody up there. I think it was Diana Neje that like brought it up. Like they just needed somebody with more influence to bring it out. So I said my piece, Sha. They were coming for me, but I'm good, Sha.
Oh, you
So
said you Miss Yan?
no, I said my piece, so they were coming for me, but
What is
I
to stay
stood
in
my
your piece,
ground.
please? What is staying your ground, standing your
I'm
ground?
like, let me check. It's based off like that girl's tweets. That girl that was saying this
Yeah.
one. I don't know what she said again. That Odumodu now posted the screenshots of her saying she's a sex worker, kinikon.
Okay, I think that takes the conversation a little bit forward.
Okay,
But for
yeah.
now, I want to keep it on the
Yeah,
lyrics. We'll
yeah.
talk about Odumodu's
It's not bad. It's
Odumodu's
not bad.
tweets
That's what I was saying.
eventually.
It's not. There's nothing
Because
too
I think
serious
that,
there.
yeah, no, I was just banting to see if you said some wild shit. But anyway, it's okay. It's okay,
I'll
man.
bring the tweet here.
No, but I think we can keep the conversation to the lyrics, per se, to the line. I think it's
Is that guy a
important to also
rapper?
put
Have we dissected that in previous space and all of that?
who Odumodu.
Yeah. He,
Wait, what else is
yeah.
he?
He's a
No,
rapper now.
I don't know if they dissected it in previous space. I'm not yet to open that can of worms
Yeah.
sincerely because
Yeah.
there are a lot
And
of
Panwine, let me just say something. One more thing. Me, I feel like
Yeah.
it's misplaced priority that's worrying Nigerians. Like we listen
Yep.
to American music and they be saying all this bullshit and nobody
Why
for
you dey
once
talk wetin dey my mind
like
now?
they are no vex. They don't complain about all these things. Like
Okay.
look at Megan Thee Stallion. All these Megan Thee Stallion, all these black American rappers now. Look at what they are singing. You will see all these Nigerian women, all these people that are coming out now. They will start talking. They will start singing it. They don't have any problem with it. But Odumodu now, because it's
No,
Odumodu, big
sir.
gala.
No
All
even use
right.
mega.
All right.
No even use mega the style. More keep am on those American rappers where they sing trap like Lil Dog. Just strictly
Yes,
male.
now.
But wait, I get one feeling. If you feel enjoy Lil Dog and all those guys where they sing trap and drugs, everything, why me I no feel enjoy Odumodu based on Nigerian rapper?
We're not used to rappers. I feel like Nigerian. We're not used to rappers being very bold. Like they don't say like out of pocket things. Nigerian rappers don't really say out of pocket things like that. So Odumodu is really like,
There's another study on that one.
do you
Or
get
more.
like Odumodu is doing something different. Like we're not used to that shit. We're not used to it.
If I'm getting
Yeah,
it correct
thank
again.
yeah, Trey Quartista. Yeah, thank you very
Check
much
Batista.
for the opportunity to speak.
Yes.
I've actually spent a fair chunk of my free time today talking about this stuff online. So yeah, it feels good to have this opportunity. But I think while I want to agree with some of what the previous speaker said concerning um, foreign rap, the truth is true. Yes, Jay-Z has probably said a lot of things far worse than that particular line, right? If we're being real, a lot of US rappers have said a lot worse. UK rappers say things just as bad. But I think at a certain point, right is right, yeah, and what's wrong is wrong as well. So there's that part. There's also the fact that people do have, an artist should have creative license to say what they think or how they feel, express their sensibilities. And if people respond positively to it, especially when you're enjoying the kind of cult following Odumodu is, then I think we have to look beyond the artist and look at ourselves, look at the public, and ask me now. That is, I feel, to be honest, I find Odumodu's lyrics objectionable. This is I'm an Abuja guy. Odumodu is practically a friend of mine, but and I mean I think I say this to him um online like many years ago when he was still a little more anonymous than now. I've never shied away from like calling out what I think is just plain offensive, right, in his lyrics. This is just true. But you have to also ask yourself, well, why are people enjoying it? I think that's really what I'm curious about. What is the reason that it resonates so much? If it's so objectionable, if so many people agree that it is objectionable, then why is it resonating so much?
Okay, very well said. So, in your premise, I guess in your submission, you're leaning to the fact that right is right and wrong is wrong, regardless of if American artists have said it before or UK artists have said it before. It still doesn't
Yeah.
justify, the use of language like that, right?
Yeah, 100%,
All right.
100%. It doesn't justify it, and yeah, it's really more. I think it's more of like a reflection on us,
Yeah.
who are the ones keeping the song at number one. The album at number one is like,
Yeah.
well, who's really listening to this stuff? Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. I think just to answer that part of like why is it one of the biggest songs right now? Obviously, these are the song within the context, these are two biggest breakouts this year, Shallipopi and Odumodu himself. And
yeah, their sensibilities reflect ours,
yeah,
though, these days.
yes. So that's the thing about, and that's why that's why I've been on the big ministry of these are rappers, and I think they reflect a lot more
A certain
of a
demographic.
certain
Yeah,
demographic, and they reflect more of Nigerian culture and norms and the society at large in a lot of ways that are not necessarily considered
yeah,
like
conformist. Yeah. I mean, they're called the anti-world. I mean,
yes,
Odumodu belongs to. He's the leader of the
anti-war
anti-world
gangsters,
gangsters.
yes, of course,
I think that is that should be self-explanatory. I
yeah,
mean, what they stand for is evident. So I don't think any of it comes as a
yeah,
surprise. Certainly, to me, to be honest, like people who've been listening to Odumodu from the jump, like from his times of doing covers and stuff, will tell you that he's actually toned it down, like
yeah.
significantly. He's
Crazy,
toned it down a lot.
crazy.
Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah, but I'll yield the mic for now, and
Yeah, and
yeah,
and
okay.
before I pass the mic over, thank you so much, Chikorista, for that.
Pama, please,
I,
can I chip in something?
wait, sorry. I want to add more context to this particular line, by the way. This particular line, like even when Shallipopi was even reversed, it, like talking about it, I think the whole song and a lot of what what the song is actually referring to is actual prostitutes, right? And in that context, um, again, doesn't justify necessarily the language, but in that context, he is describing a literal sex worker, right? Like an actual sex worker when he talks about
Yeah,
when
yeah,
it talks about really practitioner, and that it says it's just a full, like at the opening of the verse.
yeah. There was context
Yeah,
too. There was
there's a
context
bit
to
more
the line.
context. I don't think he is. I don't think the approach for that song is straight up every woman.
Generalization.
Yeah, like
I don't think
generalize
so.
as this is how I'm
I don't
referring
think
to
so.
every woman. So is
But I will say though that I think it does to some extent subvert um the honest, hardworking women who are out there, other honest, hardworking women out there who aren't
yes, who aren't
prostitutes. So
prostitutes,
that's
but
that's where it
yeah,
becomes
but
problematic.
the funny thing about that is the rebuttal would be, oh, this is not about you then, right? Like this song is not
I,
about you,
what
or
I
this
wanted to
is
say, Emmanuel, is like I don't know if it's the first time we're hearing this type of song. I don't know if it's based on the model portrayal, but typically Omale did a song called Fino. Is it Fino? Was it the only one on that track? Something my Fino. If you listen to all the lyrical wordings of that track, it's really also talking about ladies of the night, really, and how they play. So it's like it's different, and everybody, like nobody, there was no cause for alarm then. Maybe it's based on how maybe Omale is a bit romantic and blah blah blah, and Odumodu's own is just hitting hard. So different art form, like I said initially, like the conversation is like an everyday conversation on the street of Lagos, right? The fact that it's torchlighting it and making it an art form, I don't know why it's being blown out of proportion. Like personally, when I saw all the tweet, I was not concerned because I was like, what are these guys saying? These things everywhere.
Now, given the context though, given the
Pama,
context that yes, he's referring to a sex worker in that song, and yes, they do make songs about sex work and everything, right? I still think his follow up in the conversation doesn't not necessarily reflect into the context of that song. It exposes a lot more of his mindset, of his train of thought when it comes to a larger conversation about transactional sex. I think that's that's one thing he basically has a premise on, but we'll get into that a little bit further. But I just want to get your thoughts on the lyrics. I know Vibes has been patient
Okay.
to get.
It's even because of this cancel culture they are trying to cancel Odumodu. It's even the major reason why I'm now even like the biggest fan of Odumodu, because I don't really take Twitter people serious like that. I don't take them serious because if you can listen yes now if you can listen to Lidok, why can't I listen to Odumodu? They can talk about drugs. At least Cardi B said something related. And even Omale is it not charm? I know Omale has one music related to something like this for that Odumodu has said, but nobody dragged Rema. But one thing, the problem I have with Odumodu is that he should try to avoid conversations like this on Twitter. He talks a lot on Twitter, and I feel that thing sometimes affect Odumodu. Another thing go talk for him music, another narration him go talk for
Thank you.
Twitter.
Vibes. You've actually pinpoint one of my frustrations with him too. It's like his music doesn't strike me as anything as out of the norm or as big of a blowout. We saw the whole uproar with the MC Oluomo thing. Contextually within artistic expressions, a lot of those shit could have slid in a lot of ways. But his response makes causes a huge divide between his music and the I guess the conversation about his music. I think he makes it significantly worse time and time again. And this example was another like scenario like that. Okay, like his response to I mean, we'll get into it as well, but I still want to hear Marvelous. But his response was, yeah, man, that's where you lose me. Marvelous, what's up?
Real ass bitch, give a fuck about a nigga. Big Birkin bag, hold 5-6 figures. Stripes
Just
on
get
my
to your
ass,
point,
every party
nigga.
kiss a
Like,
tigger.
gosh.
You thought I was feeling you? That nigga a munch.
Oh my god, man.
Quit playing, nigga. Come suck a bitch toes. Okay, so I say all that to say this. You see, Nigerian Twitter and performative outrage.
Right.
5 and 6. Outrage that amounts to nothing. Outrage that doesn't translate into shishi. That is what we're known for. Agenda upon agenda upon agenda. You know, I'm pretty sure if we were to go through the playlist of a lot of the people that are calling him out, you would find many City Girls records. You would find many Ice Spice records. You would find many trick that nigga, whip that nigga, bust his balls type of records, right? But obviously, Odumodu Black, being as raw and edgy and provocative as he says it, and they want to drag a poor, vulnerable Nigerian man. Look, two things can be true at once. Let me actually be serious, right? Cognitive dissonance aside, two things can be true at once. It's true that depending on how you interpret his lyrics, you can take it as slut shaming, right? That's true. That's valid. But then within the context of him being a rapper, within the context of the type of music that he makes, within the context of how his lyrics tend to be, it's something that you should hear and you should just know that it's all in good spirits. It's for the sake of the song. It's supposed to keep the energy. It's supposed to give it a bop. It's supposed to give it this edginess. It's supposed to give it this, oh my God, did he just say that? That's wild. It's supposed to bring that X factor. But you know, every once in a while, we have our, forgive me, we have our feminist brigade.
Okay.
And when it's that time of the month, you feel their wrath. That's all I
Okay,
have to
okay,
say.
okay, okay, okay. Relax, 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 marvelous. Relax. I think there's
I
justified.
love all
I
the
think no.
ladies.
Listen,
I love
listen.
all the
There's
ladies. Please
justified
don't
pushback on
cancel
what he
me.
said. There's
I
justified
beg.
pushback on what he
What
said.
is that? Uh,
There,
I'm
there is,
sorry.
there is. Yeah, yeah,
Man said it's that time of the month.
yeah. That's unnecessary, bro. But honestly, I think there is valid pushback at what he said, and not necessarily based on the song. I think based on the song, the context of the song, it doesn't necessarily apply to. I don't believe it is. It's applicable to every your everyday woman, and but I think the response to it is that he has gone on Twitter was where he basically is calling people a shower, calling people sluts for different reasons that don't necessarily contain to the context of this conversation now, and but anyway, we'll allow the
Belema, give Belema mic, make it talk.
yeah,
No
yeah.
dey
I think I'm
vex, the
about to
man dey
hear.
talk.
Yeah, I want to hear from Moyo and then Belema, but I think yeah, Belema was up here. Belema, did you want to speak on this or?
Moya, you can go ahead, I beg. I don't. If I start to say what I want to say, Moya,
So
please go
glad
ahead.
we're finally I'm
Hi,
finally
Moya
listening
as
to the
well.
men talk. Hey guys, hey guys.
Hi.
I think I'm happy that you guys are letting the women finally talk. And what I want to contribute to this is I definitely don't think it's wrong for people to say whatever they want in music. If that was not the case, then this whole case about like Young Thug, YSL, like lyrics will actually be a thing that you can use to prosecute people. That being said, though, I think where the outrage comes from is not about men talking about having sex with women. It is about perpetuating the stereotype that women need men for everything. Because when you say stuff like if she ain't riding or slurping, who's gonna pay her breaking? You're pretty much perpetuating the stereotype that like women can't do shit without men. That is where people are frustrated about, and then saying that in itself and then coming on Twitter and then tweeting that, oh, somebody is an ashewo, that one is crossing the line. I cannot lie. You feel me? That one guy that came here to come and start singing I Spice, like, I don't necessarily know if this really aligns with the point, because those lyrics are about women, expressing their sexuality, which men do all the time, and is not a problem. There's no problem with people expressing that their sexuality. My problem is just that you go a step further when you start calling people out for them saying that they find your lyrics offensive, which is factual in this situation. Like saying that a woman can't pay her Birkin or get a Birkin or do all that if she doesn't slurp, like that's just crazy to me. But yes, I get the outrage on both sides. I get the people that are saying it's selective outrage, because yes, you are right. People talk about stuff like this all the time. Like, what makes this situation different? I think it's the going one step further and actually like going through people's tweets and screenshotting it. I feel like that's where the problem comes in. But that's just me though.
Nah, I absolutely hear that, Moyo. I absolutely hear that. I think the fact that he called one of the people that was like, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a discussion between gender norms, because I believe gender norms have a say in this conversation, because there's certain things that that a certain type of woman would want to have in their life. They're traditional and conservative women that want a man to provide and everything. I don't think that justifies you calling her an ashawo in any way, shape, or form. If a woman wants a man to be providing, that's your kind of that's the type of woman that is up to you to decide if you want or you don't want. Like at the end of the day, you have to find someone that's compatible for you. But last, I completely like he misruled when he's not finding screenshots to justify him
Like,
calling
seriously.
a shower as well. Like that that's where he lost the argument for me. But
Like, bro
anyway,
lost the plots for me at that point, to be honest. Like,
but
just sing your raps and let's just move
yeah,
on.
but even to your conversation about the stereotypes, right? I think if we wanted to have a much more nuanced conversation about his lyrics in this song, it is like in a lot of ways, yes, it is still pushing towards that stereotypes. But do you also see the angle at which they approach these songs by referring to or speaking to actual like sex workers and prostitutes? Like that's the world that they live in. That's the world that they revolve in. So them talking about sex work and sex workers in that context, does that add in or change anything to your stance on the lyrics? Just based on the lyrics, forget what he said
Okay,
on,
based on the lyrics,
yeah.
right? Like Shallipopi has this song, it's called Pepe Lily or whatever.
Oscar, yes, Oscar means
Yes. And
prostitutes.
in that
Yes.
exactly in that song he's talking about Oscar, which is prostitute, and he's talking about how he's a frequent patronizer of prostitute.
Yep.
No problem. That is your business and how you handle your sex life. The issue is like with me personally, where I think that people are finding outrage in is the fact that those lyrics that Odumodu is saying is, it's like I said, it's perpetuating that stereotype that like for a woman to have something, she needs to like perform like sex acts like that, and it's perpetuating the stereotype that all women are like this, even though it's not that way. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Even though he's
you are
not
talking,
referring to all women, you believe it's still damaging in the bigger
yeah,
scale.
like if you are going to say like, okay, she's if like the way what's his name, Shalapovi said, oh, you know, like he pays for prostitutes all the time, like cool, that's you, bro. But for you to like allude to the fact that like, oh, she's a bad bitch, she needs these bags or she needs this cash, so she's gonna have to like suck dick or something, that's crazy to me. Like that's where I feel like the problem lies, or where people are finding the issue at. Like the issue is really not about somebody expressing what they want to say in their lyrics. This is not the first time that a man will talk about having sex with a woman in lyrics. Like it's
Yeah.
just the way, like people talk about shit like that all the time. People need to understand where that line is and why it was, or how that line was crossed, and why people are outraged. Like,
So do you believe the line was crossed on the song and not necessarily on the streets?
like okay, it's not the first time a man has said stuff like that. Like me personally, I feel like it kind of started out as selective outrage. Like when it first started out, I was like, all right, here we fucking go again. Niggas are mad about something today, and then he went as far as to like screenshotting.
Yeah,
Like that
yeah.
is
Okay.
where,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
when you do that, you're actually saying that, yeah, like this is what I think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though necessarily you might not think that way, but that's the picture that you're painting,
Yep.
especially for
Yep.
someone like Odumodu, who is like, he's our front man at the moment when it comes to Nigerian music. Like people expect a lot, but I guess that's just his brand. Like he's very outspoken. He says whatever the fuck he wants, which is respectable. But like also like, let's respect women, please.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely hear where Maria is right
But
now.
please, can I ask you a question, please?
Wait. Before we move on, I thought we had someone else before.
He say he has question for you, and his question must be very important that it cannot wait.
Okay, sure, vibes. Because Belema was going to talk, so she's just handing it over to you. So, yeah, what's your question, bro?
I can ask the question, right?
Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
mean, it's not like we
Okay,
have a choice.
Oh,
okay.
Belema! Damn. Jesus
As
Christ.
in,
Ask your
That's why,
question,
Belema.
Abeg.
it
What's your
seems
question,
like
bro?
because my question now is, it seems like because Odumodu is draw, that's why we are dragging him.
Because of
Now,
the model
the
is
funniest
what?
part is
Sorry?
Because of the mother is what?
he's kind of blunt
Oh,
in
okay.
saying his things. That's
That
why.
is not the
No,
issue. Like,
no. My question. I want to, please now let me ask the
Let's get
question.
his question.
The weird thing is that my bloody civilian, my best music for my EP is "How to Kill a Man." Have
Mm-hmm.
people listened to that lyrics?
Oh,
You
God.
are a comedian. I swear
That's so
to God,
funny.
you are funny.
That's funny.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, we've heard how to kill
We
a
had the
man.
song, we had the lyrics.
I don't die. That's funny, man.
You are
Yeah, we
funny.
heard the song. For sure, man. I understand. No, I thought
I
I
don't even
was.
know where to go with that
Yeah,
question,
yeah.
man.
No, we don't. We know. We understand the "How to Kill a Man" song, and yes, there's no outrage there, of course. But yeah, Belema, how it takes is this?
Oh my God. Let me start by pissing off everybody. Everybody
Let's
is
go.
mad. That
Let's
is the
go.
first thing I want to
Let's
say.
go.
Everybody is a little bit crazy and moving a little bit funny. That's the first thing I want to say. So now, a woman has told you people that she, in her own life, when she gets married, she's looking for a man that will take care of her and give her money and sponsor her entire life. Eh? That is great for her. That is not the definition of a slut, because she can be a virgin, and because she's choosing to buy into a part of the patriarchy, that is the part that she feels benefits her. And so she's moving forward with saying, I want a man that will do all of these things for me. But it does not translate to she's a slut. The problem is that because sluts or prostitutes ask for all of these things, you automatically think that somebody that is doing all of that is asking for that. What you people are looking for is a woman that will indirectly get stuff for you from you. What you don't like is the woman that will ask you up front that before I sleep with you, I have to collect money from your hand. What you want is the babe that you will sleep with, and next week she will guilt you into buying her food. That is the one that you like. It's not indirect. It makes your moral chest feel lighter. It makes you feel happier. And I didn't pay for it. I'm not like that or that. My dear, even your daddy and your mommy are doing transactional sex, so everybody should rest. Like, quite frankly, I don't even understand what you people are arguing about. The problem I have with this whole situation, when it comes down to the crook of it, is that this woman has said she does not like this thing. Odumodu should just tell her, that's your business. Or you can ignore her. Whatever you want to do. Answer, don't, whatever. The problem comes when your response, and Nigerians are fond of doing this thing on Twitter. They are very much this you. They will now come and carry screenshot and post. When what she's talking about, what what she's talking about and what you're talking about are two separate things. She's talking
Exactly. Yeah,
about
what's the
the
point?
patriarchy, you're talking about sluts. But okay, beautiful. And then we get to name calling. Somebody's calling another person slut. Another person is calling somebody a shower. Somebody is telling you, I reclaim the word. Somebody is saying, see, all of you will be fine. Know this and know peace. All of you are doing transactional sex. Whether you are married or whether you are single or whether you are lesbian or whether you are gay, whether you are hiding, all of you are doing transaction. Know this, know peace, and find help. Thank you very much.
Please don't generalize. Don't generalize, please. Thank you.
Please go
Pepper,
ahead.
and then we have
Thank
Bloody
you.
after that.
Yes, please. This says, let me. Hold on.
Sorry, sorry,
Okay.
sorry.
First and foremost, the thing with this conversation is the truth of the matter is we can't necessarily have this conversation here. As much as I love this ATTW space, we can't have it here. The truth, because this conversation is not actually about the music. Let's be real.
Loud it.
True.
The moment we start having this conversation here, it will evolve and devolve into a gender
Gender war.
Gender war.
disparity.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
to be honest, that's not what we're ever pulling up here on a Monday for.
No, but
One,
to be fair,
no, hold on.
okay.
I when you were having the conversation strictly about the reason why I point that out is when you just want to separate it and be like, let's have a conversation about the lyrics
Yes,
itself.
yes.
It doesn't lend to this situation because the outrage did not start with the lyrics. A person stated her own personal opinion and how she felt
About
about
the
the lyrics.
lyrics. Mm-hmm.
And everyone is entitled to how they feel, whether you're offended by it, you're not offended
A
by it,
thousand percent.
whatever. Cool. The outrage actually started by his response to her opinion about the lyrics and his choice to direct her opinion about his art and his music to her character and who she is as a person, deeming her an upcoming Ashawo. What does her feeling that, hey, oh mommy, my babes, I need you people to get your money up so that no man can be talking to you people like that? How does that translate to, oh, this you with a picture of a previous tweet and then saying a babe we don't what's it called, talk herself abi display herself as an upcoming ashawo, have to do with her opinion on his music? Do you understand what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it is that was where the outrage started. That was where the quote unquote dragging started. That's when people started really coming out of the woodworks. Because like people said, this song has been out for how many weeks? 3 weeks. The album has been out for 3 weeks and nobody really said much of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because irregardless, like you feel how you feel, and we all know we all have our own personal opinions about Odumodu's music and his lyrics. Like we like that's not new. The issue was the way he responded and decided to label her an ashawo, a slut, a prostitute, whatever. And let's all be honest, he did not say that as a compliment. That was where the outrage really, really, really began, and that's where it really started. And for me, if that is what the outrage and the dragging is about, then we cannot now evolve it or devolve the conversation to it being about the lyrics. Because that was not the original quote unquote what people were upset about. People were not upset per se. Like people are upset, obviously, they have their opinions, but no one was really, really upset about the lyrics. A lot of people's vitriol or response came from his response to her. So let's not come and now make it as if no, this is solely about the lyrics. It ain't about no lyrics. Like you said,
But
people
it
we've
was the
heard
lyrics
worse.
that started this thing now.
We've seen worse, we've heard worse. We've heard every from one end of the spectrum to the other. It was the fact that he started labeling the baby sluts. That was when people now started being like, okay, what that got to do with anything, though?
I mean,
Exactly.
like I said, but you people will say that I'm a horrible person. And some of you people's parents
Oh,
you
Belema,
know,
please now.
Belova,
Maybe we not bring
Belova,
our
you know,
maybe
Belova,
bring our
ask
mama
for
Jesus.
papa into
You go
this,
just
money.
dey do
please.
passing
Oh,
back.
my mama, papa,
Let's
they,
leave our
Don't
they
be
parents
don't know say
side.
I
slut
did.
behavior
No, no.
first.
I mean, we laugh at what Belema is saying, but in the bottom line, what she's
Everything
essentially
is a
saying is
transaction. Even
everything
if
in
the
life
transaction is not
involves.
monetary.
Oh God, we're
And I
going
hate,
to
and I
Pastor
hate,
Man
and I
said
hate.
that
It's so
this will
reductive to call
evolve
it
into a
transactional.
sociological
I
conversation.
know.
And
I see, Pepe. I understand. I
we're
understand what you
talking about
say. I
directions. Go
understand that,
ahead.
Pepe. I understand that you like. Obviously, this is not necessarily a music like topic alone, but music itself and the topics within music,
Mm-hmm.
they're not in a vacuum. You know, they live within a real society, so we can have societal like conversations at the end of
No,
the
I
day,
don't have a problem
right?
with that. See,
Yeah.
I don't. So long as you're okay with it, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
not
I
me.
mean, we can keep. I'm trying my very best to separate those things and keep the
Please
conversation
keep
as
Marvelous
mature as it
mic.
can be because
So yeah,
yeah, yeah, and
my point in all of this, is that we are shifting this so-called outrage, this
yeah,
selective outrage that people are referring to be solely about the lyrics. And the person who was saying about social media manager this, social that is free speech does not mean freedom of consequence. You can say whatever you want to say. Doesn't mean that people are also not going to come and respond
absolutely.
to what you said. So if people are outraged at the fact that you said what you said, is all part of free speech, Abby. Is all part of free speech. And you're also allowed to say, I stand 10 toes in exactly what I said, and I'm not shifting, I'm not moving.
And it's not
We're all
folding.
is all part of free speech. I agree. But for me, I just do not like the idea that somebody is criticizing your art and you are now making a character judgment. At no point has this person come out to come and tell you she's an ashawo or a prostitute. She made a tweet about something that she believes in, and you have somehow now termed it she's a slut. I mean, she's a prostitute. What does that have to do with anything? That's my question.
I hate to break the news to you. Men actually love sluts. Men actually like hoes. Men actually like certified freaks. Men actually like the women who give the gawk gawk. Men actually like the women who ask them for money. We love these women. Trust me, there's a reason why they're building houses in Lekki. There's a reason why they're always on trips. There's a reason why a man could be married and still be found wanting, for lack of a better word. Hallelujah. Now, the problem is, it's almost like there's a gag order. The women that men sleep with, they're not aliens. They're Nigerian women. The women that collect these Birkin bags, the women that collect these trips, they're not aliens. They're also on Nigerian Twitter. Some of them may or may not be artists. Some of them may or may not be actresses. Some of them may or may not be crochet dressmakers. Who knows? Sorry. Who knows? These women exist. They're there. But the problem is when you want to speak about the soft white underbelly of society, when you want to show just how involved everyone is in enabling patriarchy, when you want to show just how, oh, it's not just the men that are guilty, the women are also guilty. It's not just the men that are championing this misogynistic bullshit, the women are also enabling and complicit in this behavior. The moment you want to speak about that, there's this gagging order. Oh, why should you say that? How can you say that? You need a manager. How dare you? And this is why I will always say Nigerians in fake life 5 and 6. The worst thing that can happen to Odumodu Black at this moment in time of his career is for him to get a PR person or a manager. To hell with that. Let him tweet in all
Native in the
caps.
mud.
More.
Let him tweet in. Sorry, guys, I know my voice sounds like a bitch. Deal with it. Let him tweet. Let him
That's
tweet.
misogynistic.
Please
Okay,
continue.
sorry, guys. I know my voice sounds like a man. Deal with it. Let him tweet in all caps the way he always does. Let him be as raw, sometimes corny, sometimes just idiotic as he usually is, because that's what humanizes him. That's what endears him to the people that stands him. You see, we have this issue where a lot of our artists, they're slowly turning into AI. You look at Big Weez, he doesn't talk. He just sits there. He just sits there, just quiet. Some of our A-list celebrities, they don't speak. There's so much so manufactured. There's so much so like so much A&Ring, so much, oh, don't say this, don't tweet that, don't interact with your fans, don't speak pidgin English. There's so much so like, why can't we know what's going on behind the scenes? Why can't I see what the artist was thinking when they came up with this lyric? Why can't they endear themselves to me? Why can I know that there's no difference between Odumodu Black and all the Igbo uncles in my WhatsApp group chats? These
Hello.
artists did not fall from heaven. And the women that have given Odumodu Black that life experience, they did not fall from heaven also. It takes two to tango. So this thing of, trust me, with all this said, if you hear me on a different space, you'll probably be shocked because I'm really not a misogynist. I just like to be objective. That's the thing. With all of this that I've said, right? There's something that I hate. It's victimization, right? The whole Ashawo word, specifically for Odumodu Black, should not be triggering to any woman that's not a sex worker. I kid you not. You should be able to look at it, know what you are, know what you're not, and ignore it. If it's triggering you, there's a skeleton in your closet, and you need to say your truth and live your truth.
I disagree on that.
Don't worry, be protected.
I big disagreement.
No, you guys
Imagine why
have to
is this
defend.
No.
No. Let me finish this thought. Let me
If you
finish this
agree, it'll be
thought.
boring.
Let him finish
Let me
his
finish
thought.
this thought.
Oh,
please.
he
I
has to
want
finish.
Marvelous
Okay,
to
sorry.
No,
finish.
let me finish.
I just thought that was funny, man. Sorry.
No,
No,
please let's let Marvelous finish his
look.
thoughts, please. I beg.
With all due respect, I love everyone. I want people to disagree, right? You have to disagree so you can get sponsorships, and we know how the music business works. I don't care about the sponsorships. In the words of Kanye West, if my voice pisses you off, fast forward. My message is not for you. Amen.
Please stop quoting my goat.
I'm
Okay,
Continue.
sorry,
thank
you.
you.
The only problem with
Can
that
we
quote
also
that you
now?
have
Can
quotes
I?
now. Sorry, Marvelous. The only
All
problem
right.
with that quote you have quotes now is that I can't fast forward you. We are live.
I'm crying.
Anyway,
Don't worry.
I had a quick
We'll
response to
cook.
Marvelous.
Cook.
Are you pretty much? I think you wrapped up your point,
Yeah,
right?
Marvelous, are you done? Abi, you still had more to add to your
Marvelous
statement?
sounds like he has a lot on his mind.
No, me,
No.
I imagine. Please respond so
No,
that
I'm
we
no.
all
speaking for the men on this space who can't speak for themselves. I will
Ah,
speak the truth.
amazing.
oh shit.
Can't speak
We
for
love it. We
themselves.
love a sportsman.
I'm dead.
Sportsman.
Okay,
Well,
first.
it's very
Emmanuel, what is your
interesting.
response? So
No,
that we
no.
don't
First, I want to respond to the social media thing, and then we'll get to the other thing. The first thing about the social media point is, I absolutely agree. Part of Odumodu's gaze as well has been his personality and how he's tweeting in all caps, and the person behind those tweets. Obviously, there's a lot of endearing attributes about his personality that a lot of people gravitate towards. So it's fine. He can have that personality, but having a social media person doesn't take away the chance or the opportunities for him to express himself. Having a social media person is basically being the, I guess, would I say a form of balance to the scale of music or discussion in general. I think it's very, 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 it can easily get into very dangerous territories when dealing with artists of very, very hot-headed personalities. We've seen it with literally we're seeing a world class superstar like Burna Boy. It would be insane, absolutely ludicrous if he didn't have anyone also watching his tweets.
Bonner just said in an interview that
It would
if
be
was left to him,
stupid
it would
of
spend
his
all
team.
his time on Twitter facing all of you.
And I'm sure you would agree with that, Marvelous. It's not saying Burna shouldn't come out to tweet every once and then, or at least share his opinions on things, or share what he thought about the song. Having a social media person doesn't stop any of that. It doesn't stop any of that. But he understands the context of public relations. He understands that how people receive a certain message is not usually how you intended to share it. So there needs to be someone that would see outside of your own head that, listen, with this particular tweet, how we're moving this particular time, or like responding to people that disagree with our lyrics. Bro, we saw with the MC Oluomo thing. He made the shit worse. He made even when the facts, or at least his expression, was virtually on his side, he made the whole shit worse. I was saying it yet again. It's the same play, it's the same game where it becomes harder to even like defend him. It becomes hard because you're like, bro, you had a stronger defense, you had a stronger case here, but now you're coming into it and you're just shooting yourself in the foot. Essentially, you need someone that would take the gun away, take the pistol away from you before you shoot yourself in the foot too much. But I think that's out of balance. On the connotation about the other thing, I actually forgot now. The other thing you mentioned regarding,
He said is if they call you an ashawo and it's not
it's
you,
about,
just ignore.
bro, come on, man. We live in a very, very, very like we should know how language is. We should know how stereotypes work. You should know when you're describing to books, bro.
In the closet.
Like how listen. Anyone that's triggered from it's a known derogatory term for women in general, and you can be the deeper life sister that goes to church four times a week and can still be in a lot of context be called an ashawo, bro. And it makes no sense to allow that term to just fly as if it's not clearly an insult to their gender. Like it's obviously gender inspired to diminish, or if you don't have an argument to make towards this point that she has brought, let me just diminish the argument by just calling her an ashawo. It's so reductive. It's so like, bro, like it's just dismiss. You're not even addressing the points that she's bringing on, and for her to be triggered by it, any woman would be triggered by calling them an ashawo for every reason, bro. Like,
skeleton in your closet.
there can be so many reasons why people are lightly triggered. There can be a plethora of reasons, but bro, this is an age-old one. This is an insult that goes as far back as the earliest of centuries, bro. This is usually things that dismisses women in a lot of conversations. It's by just calling them an ashawo, bro. Like that's exactly what you should be getting triggered to. Not even to a matter of you have skeleton in your shadow in your closets, bro.
If they call Odumo a loser in the it humanizes him to respond. But I should not respond when they call me ashawo. Enough for this out. I love you people.
Guys, can I?
Yes, sorry, fortune. Yeah, let's hear for fortune, please.
No, but please, Tron, you wanted to say something.
Yeah,
And
I
a
was gonna
shower
say,
self no go allow me to call him a shower.
As in, bro, that's even the funny truth. Like, Ashawo's women like that, bro.
A
Yeah,
shower
please,
self no
let's
go
let
like
Tron,
me to
let's
call
Tron
him a
actually
shower.
speak. Tron has been waiting.
Fortune, please go ahead, I beg.
this place is all the time itself. But yeah,
So,
Me, self, I don't
so
tire
feel
of
like
sorry, fortune.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes when it comes to conversations like this, yeah, a lot of us when we get on spaces, I feel like we just speak from a very emotional standpoint, and for a lot of you on spaces right now, I feel like if we don't allow ourselves to take criticism or allow people make criticisms of people that we love, then they may just get away with anything. Like it's almost as if nothing sticks, right? And Odumodu can say absolutely anything, and there'll just be this crowd to defend him. And my opinion. Oh, actually, I wanted to address what Marvelous said earlier regarding like the Ashawo slur, right? I feel like even me as a man, right? I see some tweets on the timeline that are just like, oh yeah, men are like this, and if you're not like maybe a rapist, you shouldn't be offended by all men. Someone saying all men are rapists, right? And I feel a way about it. And you can pretend as much as you want, right? Even if it's to do with your tribe or to do with your gender or your religion, you feel some way about it. So it's just a human response. And I don't even think the lady who Odumodu could even like the lady who Odumodu was responding to. I don't think she even responded back to him. It was like the case was just taken up by someone else completely. So yeah, now that's out of the way. With regards to the actual tweet, the the tweet that the lady made initially, I feel like a lot of us are in a sort of toxic relationship on Twitter, right? The men and the women on Twitter, men and women on Twitter, Nigeria, we're in a sort of like toxic relationship, and I think we need to there needs to be some form of healing, right? Because a lot of the conversations we have are so layered. Like we were speaking from when we speak about, say, let's say gender norms on the timeline tomorrow, people are gonna bring up examples from last week and 2 years ago and 3 months ago that happened on the same timeline. There's this sort of I don't know what to call it. There's this count going on Twitter where the guys are looking for the next example to like show the women that they are bad, and the women are looking for some sort of example to show the men that they are bad, and it's just continuous. So you almost find people fishing um evidence or information to sort of like prove that, oh, the women are like so bad. Nigerian women are just like this, and they're all like this. They're
Confirmation
bad.
bias is what you're referring to, right?
Exactly, and then the women in the same way are also looking for evidence. Like each time something bad happens, which is oftentimes the exception, right? Like I don't believe most guys are the worst things that happen in society are not true of most guys in society, and the worst things that happen from the women's side are not true of all women in society. But there's this thing where people want to make it seem like the absolute truth, like men are all like this and women are all like this, and we need to like fight every single day. So yeah, I feel like a lot of us are in this sort of toxic relationship on Twitter, and we don't realize it. And I feel like that contributed to like the conversation today, right? Because I feel like everyone's entitled to their opinion on music and lyrics, right? And the lady who tweeted that she wasn't a fan of the lyric, and she feels like women should work and earn more so they'll be able to, also they don't have to listen to stuff like that from men. That's good advice, right? Even if she's talking to prostitutes or just everyday women, that's good advice. Like that she wants them to work and she wants them to, I don't know, like be more self-sufficient so they don't have to suck or fuck to get money, or be spoken to in a way that, oh, if you don't suck or if you don't fuck, I'm not going to give you money, or you can't buy your handbags and whatnot. It's good advice, right? And I mean, Odumodu is also free speech, like Abbott said, right? I think that's it. Abbott, yeah. Free speech, and he's free to also like respond to her if he chooses. Now, Odumodu's first response, right? If he had left the conversation there, I would have been like, yeah, like she said her opinion, you said yours. You literally like just posted a screenshot of what she said earlier. If he left the conversation there, it's understandable, right? But when the other guy, one of his minions on in the comment section was like, oh, like don't fold, and he was like calling her a shower, that's where he literally kind of like lost me especially, right? And he lost a lot of quite a number of us, because and I don't know, stan culture just makes it so difficult to get through a lot of conversations like this, because people want to. Odumodu cannot do any wrong. Like right now, Odumodu just has to tweet in caps. Like even if he insults someone who is not deserving, he will have people supporting and say, like guy no folds, na so they go da 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 da, all of these hailings and whatnot, right? And I'm a fan of Odumodu, right? I was one of those people who said Odumodu can sing M Solo, more like M Solo. Yeah, granted, they're people in hip hop, right? People sing about Escobar, sing about some of the greatest villains of all times, right? Jack the Ripper on bars, and no one bats an eye. So Odumodu can sing about MC Oluomo if he wishes, right? I was one of those people who came out to say that, but I think when he crosses the line by literally insulting someone else on the timeline, you should not go as far like, yeah, I know you love him, but don't do the thing where you're now making it seem like he said absolutely nothing wrong, right? It's okay to say Odumodu, right? On this tweet, you were wrong. Earlier, I can't understand why you take um I understand why you're not a fan of the tweet earlier, right? And you responded initially, but calling her an ashawo is not the right way to go about it. And trust me, if he never made that tweet, I'm pretty sure a large majority
We
of
won't be talking about this.
yeah, wouldn't even be having this conversation because obviously would understand that yeah, she gave her own opinion, and Odumodu also has his own opinion. Now the Cochette lady who responded to Odumodu with the she was obviously triggered by him calling her an ashawo. That's the only reason she quoted Odumodu, not because of the initial response. She only quoted Odumodu because
And
he called her ashawo, and she basically came to sort of like say, okay, someone's giving their opinion on your song, and you're sort of like shaming her.
and Tron, sorry, just to interject at this point. I think they
Yeah,
even they've had it back and forth before. I think I'm not sure.
right, exactly. But again, on Twitter, right, a lot of us are playing this game where I'm gonna get you the next day. Like you have this,
Yeah.
the men and the women are doing it. Some accounts are doing it with other accounts, where it's like, oh, you did this, you kind of like show me today, I'll show you tomorrow, kind of
They
thing,
even be doing
right?
it as joke. Didn't
Exactly.
today Smada tweeted I woke up to Odumodu slander, and he now posted that video that Smada posted what a week ago
When
saying,
Smada
oh,
was
they are
was
dragging
was under was under
they are
fire too.
dragging Smada out too. I know everybody will be alright, man.
But yeah, I just feel like some of the greatest artists of all time have been criticized for having poor lyrics, disgusting lyrics, and whatnot, right? And um, I don't know if I could advise Odumodu, I would just say I don't even want to advise him because I feel like one thing I love about Odumodu is that he's very outspoken and he's not someone that's because I'm not a fan of outrage or mob mentality, right? I hate it so much and it happens a lot on Twitter. And I'm happy that Odumodu is one of those people who you can't like just bully like
Yeah.
okay you didn't do this and now he's just gonna succumb and he's not gonna turn into this guy who has to put on a filter each time he speaks and he can't say his mind, right? I love that about him. But on this scenario or this situation, right? I feel like it was wrong for calling her a shower, and that's just the truth, the absolute truth. And I don't know if Odumodu is like not intellectually dishonest, I think he would agree
I
as
would
well,
agree. I
right?
think.
And a lot of I feel like sometimes on social media we
Stop
don't really
plenty.
understand how difficult it is to deal with that overload of information, right? I don't know if any one of you have ever been dragged by at least 100 people on Twitter. It's really
Uh.
it's a lot of information to
Yeah.
process, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you even attribute the wrong messages to the wrong accounts, right? So Odumodu in is like probably reading all of those tweets and seeing like misogynist da 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 da. It's just like he's human at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right? And he
Yeah.
can just tweet in response to someone who maybe did not even make the comment that he's just trying to get something out there and he's not really so again I like to extend that grace in the sense that he's ultimately human,
Yeah.
but in this situation he was wrong. And
I
yeah, some of the
I
greatest
have a
artists have been
question for you, Fortune. Sorry.
yeah,
I have a
yeah,
question for you.
okay,
So, if we bring all of this back to the music,
yeah.
my question for you is this: is it outrageous for somebody to say, "Oh, I'm never listening to Odumodu again"?
Ah. It's a
I
free
don't
world.
think I don't think it's outrageous. You don't even need him to say something bad to say I'm not listening to it. It could be that he used one instrument that you hate that has traumatized you in your sleep or something. I don't know. Whatever you don't need anyone's permission or you don't need a reason to stop listening to any artist on the planet. Talk less of if they maybe said something that you're not really a fan of. So and like Odomodi said, not be your one stream. It's not like one stream right here on the streets, right? So like who wants to fuck off with their one stream can fuck off with their one stream, in my opinion at least, right? But when Odumodu makes a mistake like he did earlier by basically slut shaming that girl, I think we should be able to I'm not saying like pile on him as well because I feel like Twitter does a lot of piling on
Yeah.
and it could be the case, but just be able to just shut up about it. Like don't don't make it seem like us against the world kind of. No, like just let it go. And Odumodu is a man. It's not. I don't really care about his age, but he's a man and he can handle himself. You don't need to be this minion trying to. And people love there's this idea of violence. Like this is what we are doing today. Like
Bro, I was
it's
literally
a
about to follow up.
let's bring today violence.
I was about to
Okay
follow
now,
up with it, and we can talk about the don't fold culture as well on Twitter, because
yeah,
that attribute, it was even the tweets that even got
Emmanuel,
him into
that's
trouble. Now all
that's
those
because God bless you.
don't fold boys, bro. Like
It's
at the end
because
of
of
the
that
day, you are a
stupid
fucking
guy.
human. You are a fucking human
Exactly.
being. You are prone to
It's
mistakes.
because
You
of
are
that
prone
guy
to
we're having this
misyan.
conversation.
No be every day you
It's
go
because of that
you
guy
go
we're
not
having
hold
this
though. As
conversation.
a bro. You
yeah,
Don't
exactly. Like
fold. Let me
I
don't
think
fold.
I think my
bro.
message to most stands here is just that the artist that you support is human and he's capable, or she is capable of mistakes. You don't have to like go all in all the time. Like just do some critical thinking, and sometimes they're wrong, sometimes they're right. And like just don't be like I know you're going against a mob, right? What you perceive to be a mob that's against Odumodu, and there is a mob against Odumodu. I have seen evidence of that myself personally, right? There are people who genuinely each time he tweets they're looking to like misconstrue what he says.
Yeah.
So I understand that you perceive that there is a mob going after him, but you're practicing a sort of mob mentality as well when you're just
Blindly.
accepting everything he does and not do some critical thinking. Like he's not right all the time, sometimes he's making mistakes and whatnot. So and when he makes those mistakes, be able to like just if you're not going to correct him, just shut up. You don't have to justify it.
Yeah.
And that's basically my message.
Yeah. Loud and clear. I agree with virtually everything you said, bro.